Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another exciting Propagandacast with me, your host, Imperial Dane, and we have just today reached 1,400 subscribers. Absolutely amazing. You'll have to wait tomorrow, though, for this double cast, because, well, I just got out of a period of another exam, yes, indeed, and so I don't quite have the time today, and so that's also another reason perhaps, things have been a bit messy the last few days again. Exam, yes, indeed. January is a bit of an exam period, so time might be a bit of a problem from time to time. Oh ho ho, a bit of a pun there. And of course, let's go have a look at our opponents in the northern corner. It shall be Rommelslayer, yes indeed, Rommelslayer fighting for the 2nd Infantry Division, going up against Piwawsky, who is a seasoned Panzer Elite player. Fighting for the 17th SS in this case, I believe, shall be clashing right here in the darkness of Semois, yes indeed. And as we start, just a quick note to all those people probably wondering, well, why aren't you casting my game? Well, there can be plenty of reasons why I'm not casting your game. It can be anything from the simple fact that it's either too long, too short, I simply don't have the time at that stage. You're playing Annihilation games. I do not cast Annihilation games, I'm sorry, but I do not. I'd rather try to stick to victory points. There's also the fact that simply, for whatever reasons, your game is just not very exciting. It can be everything to some very highly monotonous gameplay, which might not be your fault. And it could simply be the fact that your opponent is downright terrible. We are seeing a backside here from Rommelslayer, a nice, usual, good thing to see here from the American. Getting crowd up for Piwawsky. Well, not out, that's usually what there is. And Panzergrenadiers, of course, coming out there. No structures right away erected. Anyhow, that of course is a quick note on that, and of course there's other things, of course, just, don't necessarily mean, oh wait, I hate you, you're a terrible player. It could simply just mean there's, a lot of other things that I just can't get around to casting your game. Your time and all that, rather important factors. Another Panzergrenadier team has arrived for the 17th. Rifleman arriving. So far all quiet, of course, not much clashing right here. And apparently a small note, Rommelslayer will not be sending in any further games to me. Apparently he's breaking off from Company of Heroes, rather feeling he doesn't quite have the time and rather focus on his family. And of course, in that regards, the Wehrmacht sends his family its kindest regards. So wait, I've played too much Red Orchestra 2 there, but nonetheless, the Wehrmacht wholeheartedly endorses more US commanders thinking of their families and not finding the glorious Wehrmacht. But of course, sad to see him go. He was a nice player, very good player, certainly had some interesting things to show, and I certainly hope one day he'll get around to coming back to Company of Heroes, or possibly Company of Heroes too. Anyways, we are, if that ever comes, Panzergrenadiers engaging the first rifleman, and there we have first engagement. Panzergrenadiers opening up. No, they're moving about out in the open, while the riflemen, of course, are taking the more let's just stand still and actually aim at our target stance. Very good move there. One Panzergrenadier already down. This is not looking good for Piwawsky already there. Further Panzergrenadiers are moving in. Others are just lounging about. I'm not entirely sure that's beneficial. And rather than just having a bit of fun with those Panzergrenadiers, not taking too heavy losses, whereas the Panzergrenadiers already have been wounded quite a bit before the gun, and now taking even heavier losses. One rifleman down, another Panzergrenadier down. This is not looking good for Piwawsky. This is in fact what you'd call bad for Piwawsky. Another rifleman down, fresh Panzergrenadiers replacing, and there we go, full retreat from Rommelslayer, rather figuring that's not going to help him. Second rifleman team on the way, and now grenades. Rather aggressive from Rommelslayer, but again, that's rather how we know him. Lots of grenades. Certainly very dangerous, that Rommelslayer. And interestingly enough, he's not really focusing on here, and thus perhaps avoiding a bit of a, the Semois pin. No, he is moving towards here. It's a bit of a longer road, but at the same time, it is going to be a bit harder to get him locked in. So grenades on the way, rather than getting reinforced. Engineers sort of moving about here, all on their own. Not quite being bothered by the Panzergrenadiers. Engagement again right here. Once more pulling back towards the house. Hoping to create a bit of a bigger strong point this time around. Further Panzergrenadiers advancing in the darkness. And booby traps. Piwawsky has already gone for scorched earth. Kettenkraut laying down booby traps. In this case, the engineers swiftly and deftly dodge it. And grenades, there we go. Oh my goodness, right into the house. 2 Panzergrenadiers down, others awfully wounded. That was quite well off there for just 25 munitions, and another Panzergrenadier already there. And apparently Piwawsky is a bit unfocused. He did not spot the grenade. He did not save his Panzergrenadiers. And of course, Panzergrenadiers are quite expensive to reinforce. 45 manpower just there. That was well over 100 manpower. Another grenade getting knocked there, and this time he actually retreats. A little explosion, rifleman pulls away, not quite fond of all those Panzergrenadiers, and others being engaged right out in the open. Rommelslayer, be careful. One man down there, standing out in the middle of the road in negative cover. Another rifleman down. And the Panzergrenadiers just keep firing. Blasting away, nice positioning of the Panzergrenadiers right here in the cemetery. And now looks like the engineers might be next. This is looking rather grim for Rommelslayer. Not quite able to slay any Rommels this time around, or at least not much. Kettenkrad awfully damaged. Engineers moving about here. Might be setting in, but no, Panzergrenadiers to the rescue. And the engineers rather realizing perhaps not getting paid enough for this. But no, instead they shoot one Panzergrenadier down through the face. And manage, in fact, to force the Panzergrenadiers away. And now the garage collapses right behind them. Further engagement right here. More engineers getting the snot beaten out of them.
Supply lines are broken.
And now Browning automatic rifles for Rommelslayer. Only 3 rifleman teams, but he's really getting quite a lot of upgrades from them right over the bat. Now first grenades, now BARs. And of course Piwawsky is not having anything on that. He's gone straight for the Kampfgruppe Company. Then the Panzer Support Command. This could prove to be quite lethal for Mr. Rommelslayer if he's getting, say, a Hotchkiss or a Panzer IV. Although the Panzer IV might be a bit more of a threat. Engineers reinforcing. These engineers are in fact still around, laying down mines. Quite wondrous. Now the Panzergrenadiers are being forced away by a rather sizable force of riflemen. Not a lot of upgrades for his Panzergrenadiers. I rather note on Piwawsky. Only 2 Gewehr 43 teams. BARs have been equipped. Rommelslayer just keeps being a nuisance. As well as he should be. And engineers running away most quickly. Rommelslayer shifting from side to side, attacking where he feels he can get away with it the best. Good move. And Piwawsky on the other hand figuring he just wants to get some armor and then snuff out that silly little Yankee. Could be seeing another engagement right here. 1 rifleman team with BARs, 2 Panzergrenadier teams without any sort of additional weaponry heading in towards the center, and there we go. 1 Panzergrenadier bites the dust. And now getting hit from numerous sides. In fact, another team moves in from the flank, and a 3rd team. This is an absolute heavy assault, not looking good for Piwawsky. His Panzergrenadier caught out in the open, and they're on the wrong side of the cover. They're easy targets, and Rommelslayer just pushes onwards. And 1 team already forced away. Grenades getting locked with the Panzergrenadiers. Yes, they do just get out of there, but this is a full retreat. Piwawsky getting throttled of manpower and everything else of territory. Kettenkrad sneaking out through here, and of course it can spot mines, so it's in fact pretty much never really bothered by them. Fun little fact there. Piwawsky sneaking in some Panzergrenadiers from the rear, hoping to ambush the riflemen. Could work, and there we go, riflemen getting engaged. Panzergrenadiers firing away with the Kar-90Ks and Gewehr 43s. Another grenade killing, oh dear, 2 Panzergrenadiers right off the bat, and veterans 1 for the riflemen. Oh dear, these Panzergrenadiers need to get out there right now. Quick sook, and a Kettenkrad goes down to the riflemen. Panzergrenadiers once more on the move. Supply it up for Rommelslayer, certainly helping with the manpower upkeep with him, and then Rommelslayer is doing quite a bit just with 3 rifleman teams who have been quite well upgraded, and that's against 5 Panzergrenadier teams. That's certainly no small feat. Rifleman going down, but opening up against on the Panzergrenadiers fighting in the marketplace. Panzergrenadiers not quite in cover, and a grenade again. Rommelslayer then hits the retreat as the grenade basically serves as a diversion, ensuring the Panzergrenadiers in fact do not launch forwards to try and hunt them down. Engineers right here, but no mining from Rommelslayer at all. And looks like we might be seeing something from the Panzer Support Command soon, very soon in fact. Could be a Panzer IV from the 100th Panzer Training and Replacement Battalion, which fought in Normandy. It was in fact the first source of armor really to engage the Americans, as far as I'm aware. And now airborne dropping in, making things even more messy for the 17th. And of course that's rather probably where Rommelslayer is expecting to gain his anti-tank assets, as he's probably realized, well, I spend that much on my riflemen, you know, I might be a bit short in case he goes for some sort of armor. And of course he hasn't seen armored cars, half-tracks or anything that might denote as usage of fuel. So I mean, that's well spotted there by Rommelslayer, and I do believe, yes indeed. Panzerkampfwagen 4F. Yes indeed, the F series. The last with the short-barreled 75mm gun. Lunging forwards for it in support units right there. Engineers taking quite a beating. Grenade on the... Oh dear, Panzergrenadiers team down, and the right airborne gain veterancy 1 in the process. More riflemen moving in, also gaining veterancy 1. And the Panzer IV moves in on against some other riflemen. And we're not seeing any sticky bombs yet. This could be the golden era for the Panzer IV if it is used properly. Heavy losses for those riflemen, they need to get away. Run away to Uncle Sam. Little rifleman.
Supply lines are broken. AT bear drop here now available supply.
And there we go, running at the might of the Panzer. And airborne on the move, veterans one, of course, making them more lethal, making them much more accurate. And there we go, opening up on one Panzergrenadier who really needs to consider getting away. Come on. Oh dear, another loss for Piwawsky. This is already starting to look really grim for him. Already 2 Panzergrenadier teams down. The Panzer IV, though, continues moving about. And an anti-tank gun gets dropped. This could... Where, though? Is that anti-tank gun getting dropped? Oh, wait, there. And the Panzer IV just keeps hunting down those riflemen. I'm not entirely sure why Rommelslayer keeps doing that. Perhaps he's just hoping to draw away the Panzer IV from the rest of his forces, giving him more time to set up his anti-tank gun. Except it's not moving. And there we go, riflemen are forced away. Panzergrenadiers on the move again. Fresh replacements being made. Actually, it's time to go have a look at Piwawsky. Yes, indeed. Nothing further from him, and of course we can't expect any sort of like a Fallschirmjäger from him, since of course he's gone to scorched earth, and the only thing that can call in is, well, Hummels. And engineer's been caught out in the open. Oh dear. Engine damage from a mine just as he got some skirts, which certainly increases protection against infantry weaponry of the anti-tank kind, like bazookas and recoilless rifles and sticky bombs, but not much against an anti-tank gun. Of course, now the Panzer IV is a very nice target. Further Panzergrenadiers arriving. Engineers with flamethrowers hiding inside the church, spilling the wrath of God upon those godless crowds, I suppose. Except, of course, they were certainly God-fearing. They certainly had a nice little belt buckle that said, "Gott mit uns." God is with us. Booby traps down right there. Panzergrenadiers getting hit from all sides. Engineers once more rushing into the church. And a booby trap right there. Sneaky that. Of course, if someone actually goes in there. Otherwise, it's, well, not really going to do much. And one rushing towards the river on fire, hoping to extinguish the flames, but not quite making any time. Panzer IV still prowls for Americans. Panzergrenadiers fighting in the center without support. Being forced away. Numerous anti-tank guns now ready, in fact, from Rommelslayer. And of course, those dastardly airborne. Another mine hit right there, and of course, that's the one laid down a lot earlier. Knocking down for increased rate of fire. Smashing away at those riflemen. not quite hitting. Further engagement here. Panzergrenadiers are forced to run the gauntlet. This is not looking good for Piwawsky. Now getting the machine gun upgrade, not really the thing I'd recommend. It doesn't really, in my opinion, do much. And we are seeing more Panzergrenadiers on the way. We are seeing a mortar half-track on the way. This could certainly turn things around a bit for Piwawsky. Though he certainly needs that Panzer IV repaired. At least the engine. All victory points in the hands of the 2nd Infantry Division and the Rommelslayer. Meanwhile, Rommelslayer pushing onwards. We're not seeing any medic stations from him, though. That's could have been useful, though. We are seeing a triage center. No upgrades to the supply yard either.
300 points.
Airborne sneaking in. What could they be up to? Going right for the booby trap. And there we go. Losing 3 men. That was quite nasty. And of course, that's the thing to note. I mean, between booby traps, there's the type the Kettenkrad can lay down, and there's Panzergrenadier booby traps. The Kettenkrad booby traps has a slightly higher delay, whereas the Panzergrenadier booby trap is usually much quicker in setting off. So, just a brief note there, if I'm not mistaken at least. And a mine set off by a mortar round, killing another airborne, it looks like. Those airborne are not quite lucky. Rifleman sneaking out in the south. Rifleman moving forward, advancing towards the mortar half-track. Panzer IV moving in to intercept, so the Panzergrenadiers. Riflemen are quickly discouraged from such silly behavior. Anti-tank gun pushing through the remains of the cemetery. Not much left of that. More Panzergrenadiers on the way, and looks like we are seeing expert repairs from the Kampfgruppe company. Certainly a good upgrade. In fact, makes your Panzergrenadiers quite effective at repairing, unlike before where they're kind of rubbish. But still, I mean, you can get a lot of repairmen that way.
We have been provided with advanced repair capabilities.
And there we go. Engagement in the south. Rifleman getting slowed down by suppressive volley. Good move. Panzergrenadiers firing away like madmen. Riflemen are pinned down. Not quite happy about that. Taking quite some losses. Rommelslayer breaking out in the north. Mines hit somewhere. Or a booby trap. No, it was the booby trap. Booby trap, in fact. Engineers just barely avoiding it. Airborne now with the cordless rifles getting ready to ambush. Anti-tank guns pulling back, but nothing to support them. And still no medic station. Panzer IV moving in against the engineers. Oh, 1 shot, 3 dead. That was quite nasty. And the Kettenkrad goes down to the riflemen. Piwawsky certainly having a high turnover amongst his Kettenkrads. That's less good.
Kampfgruppe Leer is losing a munitions depot to the enemy.
And more mines are being set off by mortar rounds.
Rejoice, Panzer. Roadblocks are now at our disposal.
All quiet for the moment. Let's in fact just speed this up a bit. Panzer IV taking out some riflemen. We are seeing sticky bombs. Riflemen though taking quite a beating. And damn it, engine the armored skirts did not save it in this case. And the anti-tank are now moving in for the kill. This could prove disastrous. There's no support for the Panzer IV support tank. Oh dear, Piwawsky, where is your infantry support? The Panzer IV is in trouble. Armor-piercing rounds, sticky bombs being turned against it. Kettenkrad for some reason moving in to booby trap right in front of all of this. Piwawsky, what are you doing? What are you thinking?
Your capturing speed has increased.
And Fieldcraft giving them the ability to seize points faster, which also helps with another limitation of the Panzergrenadiers. Plus it also allows them to actually spot mines when they stand still, which is something I'm aware of. Apparently some people think I'm not, but yes, I am. But it is an upgrade that is needed for them to actually be able to do that. And it does require them to stand still. But a heavy loss for Piwawsky right there. Panzer IV is kaput. Although he is holding most of the other parts of the map, so that's actually good. Mortar half-track getting attacked. running right into the airborne with the recoilless rifles and the riflemen. Oh dear, mortar half-track does its best to get away. Panzergrenadiers, riflemen fighting airborne, firing up. Mortar half-track needs to get away. And a grenade from Rommelslayer on the Panzergrenadiers. Oh dear, 3 Panzergrenadiers down, and the mortar half-track makes a quick escape, fleeing the vicious airborne who are now quite exhausted. And will they be going for... And once more the airborne instead of a booby trap. Apparently these must be the flying booby squad or something like that. And the booby is a bird. I was pretty sure of that. And another booby trap apparently detected by these riflemen, but apparently they have managed to dodge that one. Another Panzer IV on the way. Kettenkrant under fire again, not looking good. And he could be repairing his mortar half-track right here, but apparently it's not. This is looking to be falling a bit apart for Piwawsky. Come on, Piwawsky. Show what you're made of. Your Wehrmacht steel. Yes, indeed.
One of our sectors has been cut off.
But not looking good for the 17th SS, despite all the booby traps, killing a few riflemen, airborne in particular, airborne. And snipers now ready out for Rommelslayer as well. Riflemen taking a few losses there, actually.
We are losing ground.
And another dying here, vanishing into the river.
Supply lines are broken.
Quite a bit of damage from those booby traps. And there we go, the flying boobies airborne squad moving out.
Forward supply lines are broken.
Panzer is repairing what they can. Panzer IV on the move again. Might want to consider spending all of that manpower on something, perhaps more Panzergrenadiers, perhaps infantry half-track, or perhaps getting another building to perhaps get some assault rifles access for Panzergrenadiers. You know, the Panzerjäger command. Booby traps being laid down by the Panzergrenadiers. Quite happy with those booby traps.
The enemy is attacking a petrol.
And another booby trap. My goodness, I've said booby quite a bit in this game. And a rifleman dies. BAR left behind. The Browning automatic rifles, World War I era weapon. Just didn't get used much though, but was still used. In fact, it was also used by the Polish during the Second World War before they were overrun by the Germans. And we are seeing a mortar team here by Rommelslayer casting in some airborne goodies. Sniper opening up on the Panzergrenadiers. Machine gun, mortar, airborne who need a reinforcement again. Panzergrenadiers advancing though. Perhaps swing in. There we go. Sniper forced away. They don't quite get him though. Panzer IV not really there to help. Mortar in trouble. Heavy machine gun outflanked. And the airborne wreaking havoc on the Panzergrenadiers, forcing at least one team to run away. And mortar firing in support still, but not quite managing to do much this time around. And the Panzer IV is just doing nothing. That's a bit sad. More booby traps. A lot more. Heavy machine gun advances to this house, which has a nice positioning. Certainly can cover quite a bit with the heavy machine gun. And now a tank depot coming out for Rommelslayer. He's really pushing his advantage, whereas Piwawsky is just floating. He certainly is lacking in the anti-tank assets department.
We have 200 points.
Sir, tank upgraded, sir.
But I do believe it's time for the mid-game analysis. What is the situation? Well, currently Piwawsky is sort of holding most of the territory, but he's not holding most of the victory points. He's certainly bleeding manpower, and worst of all, Rommelslayer has gotten a tank depot. He hasn't, and he's in fact floating quite a bit of resources. He really needs to get those spent right away. Otherwise, he might end himself in a lot of trouble. Otherwise, good uses of doctrine so far, good uses of ability, good use of grenades, BARs, and everything. Let's return to the fight, and oh dear, what are these chaps up to? Opening up on the recoilless, with the recoilless rifles on the mortar half-track. Panzer IV advances. Opens up on the airborne. What do? They rush into the building. No. Don't touch the donut. It's booby-trapped. And there we go, he touched the donut.
Been destroyed.
Silly airborne! You cannot match Panzergrenadier ingenuity. Booby trapping the donut. Nah. Anyways, airborne. No, that was right, the airborne I did. Rifleman, sniper, and mortar on the move. Another booby trap set off. Piwawsky quite proud of his booby traps. Certainly nothing to be wrong in that. Although he needs to start floating resources, definitely. Still no armor on the way for Rommelslayer. Panzergrenadiers fighting in the Panzergrenadiers. Mortar firing away. 60mm mortar was the Americans' company level mortar. The Germans used the 80mm mortar, in fact. The Americans did have an 80mm mortar as well, but that was actually battalion level, whereas the Germans for that used a 120mm heavy mortar. So there's a bit of a change. That Panzergrenadiers hit a mine. Rommelslayer apparently also able to do a bit of his own nasty bits. Panzer Command still on the way. And now there is in fact a Hellcat moving out. No Panzer IV. I mean Sherman. Engineers being pinned down by Panzergrenadiers with BARs and Gewehr 43s. Panzer IV charging. Oh, the ends. All of these riflemen getting ready to cover it in sticky bomb. And a tank gun also firing away. That was pretty bad, and it is immobilized. Riflemen taking some losses. Mortar firing in support. Panzergrenadiers moving in, but I'm pretty sure this Panzer IV is no more. Further losses to the riflemen. Destroyed engine. There's pretty much the only thing not destroyed on that is the gun at this stage. Riflemen in fact taking quite some heavy losses. One team is in fact lost. More sticky bombs as parting gift. And the anti-tank gun is left on its own. The Panzergrenadiers could move in and knock that out, but the Panzer IV is lost once more. That was less than ecstatic. And the sniper could be caught out in the zone. Yes, indeed. Piwawsky moving in. Airborne dropping in, though, to cover. And slowing down the sniper. They have nothing on that, and they just want him dead. Airborne dropping in the midst of everything. Hey, machine gun opening up, and looks like the sniper just barely makes it out of there. Despite everything that Piwawsky could throw at the sniper just made it out of there. Tank destroyer now on the move, having already knocked out a poor defenseless kitten crowd.
The enemy is after our victory.
Except for the booby traps. And now unleashes its wrath upon the Panzergrenadiers. This is only causing Piwawsky a bit of a problem, particularly since he doesn't really have anything that can stop it.
Supply lines are broken. We have territory out of supply.
Well, let's speed this up a bit again until Piwawsky can mount something else, because it pretty much looks like he's been beaten off the map. Rommelslayer quickly advances, well, as quickly as he can advance, without getting slaughtered by booby traps. Now the counterattack.
Aerial recon capabilities.
Still no anti-tank assets, no Marder 3s, no anything. Or a Panzerschreck. Mortar after getting ready. Panzergrenadiers getting sniped by that sniper. And he's gone for the Panther battle group. Yes, indeed, he's apparently managed to call in some Panthers from somewhere. Not entirely sure, probably the 2nd Panzer Division, which might have had some Panthers. Or possibly from an SS Panzer Division. Either way, he has Panthers. Rommel does not. He's pushing onwards with a vengeance. Of course, at the same time exposing his weaker rear armor to the airborne. And fun fact, the Panther actually had a pretty weak side armor, which was rather its weakness, besides that, and the fact that it was rather maintenance heavy. A bit unreliable. Airborne taking losses as the Panthers blast away with the might of their high velocity 75mm guns. Riflemen getting ready to drop sticky bombs on it, and the Panthers can't move away. This is looking rather grim. Anti-tank are now opening up and swill. Mortar rounds firing about. They need to knock out those anti-tank guns, otherwise those Panthers will be lost much too quickly. That will be 1,000 manpower lost. And Panzergrenadiers quickly sally out to protect them. Perhaps clear out the anti-tank guns in the process. There we go. Anti-tank guns under fire, but there are no Panzergrenadiers now to actually repair the Panthers. Both heavily damaged. That was an absolute disaster. Others are moving about here, booby trapping, but they need to get back. They need to repair the Panthers, get them ready for battle once more. Otherwise, that's 1,000 manpower just sitting about in his base doing nothing. Come on, Piwawsky, priorities. And the anti-tank guns are simply getting hunted down. Mortar getting cleared out. Yes, indeed, mortarists no more. Panzergrenadier team retreats, and the Hellcat sallies forth once more. The Panzergrenadiers need to retreat. They need to get out of there. Sniper now being hunted down by another team of Panzergrenadiers. Oh dear, oh dear. Another Panzergrenadier bites the dust. And is lost as he desperately tried to kill that sniper. Panthers still unfunctional. Still no Panzergrenadiers to really repair them. Again, a bad move by Piwawsky.
Lines are broken. We have territory out of supply.
I do believe it's time to return to him, who's again flooding resources and not training Panzergrenadiers or assault grenadiers or something that could quickly get those Panthers repaired. And more booby traps from Piwawsky, but that's, well, Piwawsky. Though he has gotten sector artillery now, he could use that to protect this area. And finally getting around to repairing those Panthers. Booby traps getting set off. Engineers dying. In quite nasty manners.
Kampfgruppe is losing a munitions depot to the enemy.
Still no resources being expended by Piwawsky, but he is repairing the Panthers, and that is certainly what counts. So a bit of a quiet moment once more. And Panzergrenadiers getting sniped, and still laying down booby traps. And getting a fireball by rifling from the other side. They need to retreat, and there we go. Piwawsky has been forced off the field once more. And booby traps going off. Against somewhere over the rainbow. Possibly not.
Forward supply lines are broken.
Second Panther getting repaired. Piwawsky getting ready for another glorious charge of the fatherland. Interestingly enough, he has the Panzer Commander, and we're not seeing a single assault rifle. In fact, he's doing nothing with it. No upgrades, no assault grenadiers, no assault rifles, not a single Marder 3 or anything, not even an armored car. Can't help but feel that's a bit of a mismove on Piwawsky's behalf. But good usage of the booby traps, that's for sure. But that's about it. Oh well. And no usage of the sector artillery either. But now the Panthers are ready. They should be moving out in support of his Panzergrenadiers. They need to sally forth, and there we go. About damn time.
We are losing a munitions depot.
Panzer 5 Kampfwagen on the move. Wait, no, they're not. Come on, Piwawsky. Small engagement in the south. Panzergrenadiers coming under fire from rifle, but the rifle themselves are taking quite a bit of shooting, and we are seeing a movement into the north as well. Riflemen coming under quite a bit of fire there. Only 3 men. This could end up badly. This could end up badly, in fact, on either side. Now we go, retreat from the south, and we are seeing incendiary grenades now from Piwawsky, but we are. We're seeing now Group SEAL and Veteran Sergeants really now pushing for the upgrades for his Panzergrenadiers, making them much tougher, much meaner, much everything else. Don't stand in the fire, Piwawsky!
Our brothers have fallen.
Oh, come on. That was just silly. I'm glad you have SEAL, but you've not got brains. Anyways. Panthers moving out. Could this be it? Am I going to be disappointed by Piwawsky again? He's certainly very close to earning himself a ticket to the Eastern Front. And Hellcat opening up on the Panzergrenadiers. Panzergrenadiers rather realizing incendiary grenades are no good. Although I suppose that the vehicle model been a bit more advanced, they could have dropped one right into the top since it is an open-topped vehicle. But, you know, let's not get caught up in that. Panthers moving. Yes, yes. Moving in to support the Panzergrenadiers. This is what we like to see. Choosing the most narrow path. That's perhaps not the brightest way of finally catching the Hellcat in its mighty sights and not opening up. Engineers coming under fire, might be in danger of getting crushed beneath the treads. No, the Panthers do not care. Panzergrenadiers getting sniped. Mortar half-track on its own. Hellcat moving in.
Forward supply lines are broken.
Still no anti-tank assets. Hellcat getting hunted down. Hellcat getting hunted down by the Panthers. Although Panthers already getting damaged. Now hit by anti-tank guns. Another dropping in. This is looking like an absolutely unmitigated disaster for Piwawsky. One Panther down, the other one could be going down in seconds. Hellcat breaking into his lines. And he has absolutely nothing to protect them. Will the Panther make it out of there? No. A second Panther is down. Panther is kaput. And GG. Pretty much say so. And again, this could just be Piwawsky being a bit of an arse.
They have destroyed an enemy unit.
And I suspect he might be trying for another Panther battle group. He's not expending any manpower, so... And interesting enough, he had all the munitions, but he's not used the sector artillery a single time. Come on, Piwawsky, use all of your resources at hand. Panzergrenadiers advancing on the riflemen. And artillery going in. In fact, the sector artillery. About damn time, but I think it might be a bit too late there. Two snipers. Artillery going on up right next to them, but not quite, doesn't hit. Slowing down, hoping for this time to actually finish it off. And doesn't quite achieve it. Strafing run, killing off one team. Being the only other one very depleted. And let's speed this up. He's obviously going for the Panther battle group, hoping for more Panthers to say what two Panthers already couldn't.
Ammunition stores are under attack.
More booby traps for Rommelslayer. And there we go, the Panther battle group number 2. That's certainly a platoon right there, including the... Whoops. Sorry about that. Panzergrenadiers getting suppressed by a machine gun emplacement. Rommelslayer certainly taking it easy. Panthers advancing. Anti-tank gun could get cleared out, and yes, in fact, it does. Veteran Sergeant provides protection against suppression. In fact, and there we go, Panthers moving in, opening up, securing the center, perhaps even, and a Hummel getting ready. My goodness, the 17th SS is really now pushing all advantages it can get, but will it be enough? Panzergrenadiers getting sniped, Hellcats moving in. People are dying. The Hellcats are not focusing on the tank destroyers. Wait, there we go. Panzergrenadier team down. 16 points left. Hellcat is gone. Second one close to being gone as well. Anti-tank guns moving in. Hellcat getting threatened by sticky bombs. And anti-tank rounds on the rear. This is not good. And Panther is gone. That's 3 Panthers gone. And GG well played. Well, the Panther was also lost. Nice compliments. And he said he tried SE for fun. Scorched Earth. And there we go. What can we learn from this game? Well, of course, don't float resources like he did. And again, don't build your building and don't use it for a large part of the game. I mean, assault weapons could have helped. Group C could have helped a lot earlier, perhaps Martyrs. And, again, be careful with your Panthers. And, of course, if you have 2 awfully damaged Panthers in your base, bloody well repair them quickly and get them into the fight again. Good use of booby traps, though. Very good usage. A bit unfortunate unit preservation at times. And, well, yes, his armor tactics were a bit dodgy at times as well, rather losing several Panthers rather quickly. Not very good at that, but really, and also not using that sector a lot better. But there you go, hope you enjoyed it. If you did, why not subscribe, tell your friends, and if you didn't, well, why not send in a replay of your own. This is Imperial Dane saying cheers.